Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer.
After preaching on the island of Cyprus, Paul and Barnabas set sail again and went to the mainland cities of Perga in Pamphylia and Antioch in Pisidia. They were at Antioch on the Sabbath day, and they went into the synagogue and sat down. And after reading of the law and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue sent word to them, saying, "If you have anything to preach to the people, say it." Then Paul stood up and, motioning with his hands, spoke to the congregation of Jesus and the history of Israel. "Men of Israel," he said, "and you that fear God, listen. The God of this people, Israel, chose our fathers and gave strength to our people when they dwelt as strangers in the land of Egypt. He delivered them with great power from their oppressors, and for about 40 years he maintained them in the wilderness. When he had destroyed 7 nations in the land of Canaan, he divided the land to them by lot and gave them judges for about 450 years, until Samuel the prophet. The people asked for a king, and he gave them Saul, the son of Kish of the tribe of Benjamin, for 40 years. Then he raised up David in Saul's place, saying, "I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, who shall do my will." Of David's seed, God, according to his promises, has now raised to Israel a Savior, Jesus. To you and to all who fear God is this Savior and this word of salvation sent. And the following Sabbath, almost the whole city came together to hear Paul and Barnabas. But their enemies stirred up the chief men of the city against them. So they departed from Antioch. They preached in the synagogues and in the streets wherever they went, bringing the message of Jesus to Jews and Gentiles alike. For, as they said, "The Lord gave us this command: I have sent you to be a light to the Gentiles, that you should work for the saving of souls to the end of the earth." And it came to pass in Iconium that they were together in the synagogue and spoke, so that a great multitude of both the Jews and Gentiles believed. But the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and set their minds against Paul and Barnabas. The city was divided, and part held with the Jews and part with the disciples. When an attempt was made to stone them, Paul and Barnabas were aware of it and fled into Lystra and Derbe, other cities of Galatia, and into the region that lies round about. And there they preached the gospel. Now there was a certain man of Lystra who, being a cripple from birth, had never walked. He heard Paul speak, and Paul, looking at him and seeing that he had the faith to be healed, said in a loud voice, "Stand up on your feet." And he leaped up and walked. When the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in their own tongue, "The gods have come down to us in the likeness of men." They called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercury, because he was a chief speaker. Then the priest of Jupiter, whose temple stood in front of the city, brought oxen and garlands to the gates to offer a sacrifice with the people. And when the apostles, Paul and Barnabas, heard of this, they tore their clothes and ran among the people, crying out, "Sirs, why do you do these things? We are only human beings with feelings like you. and are preaching to you that you should turn from these vain worships to the living God, who made heaven and earth and the sea and all things in them. In times past, he let all peoples walk in their own ways, but he did not leave us without reminders of himself. In that he did good and gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. Even with those words, they barely restrained the people from offering sacrifices to them. But there came there certain men from Antioch and Iconium who swayed the people. They stoned Paul and put him out of the city, thinking he was dead. However, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up and came into the city. The next day, he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. And when they had preached the gospel to that city, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and Antioch. And after they had passed throughout Pisidia, they came to Pamphylia. And when they had preached the word in Perga, they went down into Italia, and from there sailed to Antioch in Cilicia. And there they stayed a long time with the disciples.
Wooden ships on the water.